Anyway,
Showed
Big Red. It's a cream soda. It's red, and it's from the Midwest.
It's a fake cream soda.
And I've had it.
You've had it.
I've had it.
Is it the best soda you've ever had?
It tastes like shit.
Cool.
Okay, but how does cream soda taste?
All right.
Like shit. The worst soda. Worst
soda's
soda.
good.
Just so you know, I'm not bleeping either of those,
we're not rolling it.
but we are now.
We can't bleep the truth.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to IGN Game Scoop. I'm your host, Damon Hatfield. Joining me this week is Justin Davis,
Scoop.
Tina Amini,
Cream soda's good.
and Sam Claiborne.
Every week, Damon.
And we've got a great show for you this week. We're going to talk about what we've been playing in lieu of any big new releases. We're going to talk about whatever happened to box art. But first,
That's a good one.
Justin, we just launched a new IGN
How does Damon
store.
sit in his seat?
There are a lot of good but first jokes happening in the Facebook.
How does Damon jump into a pool?
Did you see how does Damon back out of his garage?
Yeah, that was really good. They're all good. I'm very proud of all of you. But Justin, we just launched the IGN store this week.
Yeah, you can go to store.ign.com and you can buy all your Game Scoop merchandise. I think
Yeah.
the Game Scoop pullover fleece is very cozy and warm and nice. But what's exciting is that we also have a lot of other stuff. So there's Star Wars shirts and Nintendo shirts and Marvel Comics, DC Comics. All of it's officially licensed. There's no knockoffs.
My Mothra shirt is not available.
But Justin's shirt is not either.
No
And
bird
neither
shirts.
is mine.
But Tina's jacket
Exactly.
is also not available.
It's IGN pin.
There's IGN pins on it,
Yeah,
but
not
also
available.
not available.
If you're listening to this show, you can go to store.ign.com and save 10% off all Game Scoop merch by putting in Scoop 10 at checkout.
Is it really just applied to Game Scoop merch?
Yeah.
Yes. So the Game Scoop stuff is like our best selling items now. And I want to keep it that way. So everyone out there in
Is that
Scoop
true?
Nation, that's true.
Okay.
Game Scoop is number
That's-
one. NVC is a very close number two. So
right.
clearly we have to bury them.
All right, pair. We're going to bury
People
pair.
could also hold off and come to our PAX panel and get shirts for free because I think I'm going to have some spares.
No, they should buy them, please.
Is that true?
It is.
Are you sure?
It's definitely true that I
Are
have
we
the
promising
spares.
things we can't deliver on?
Okay.
But I haven't
But
set
it'll be
up-
like 2 of them.
Yeah.
So still buy your shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We'll see.
I think everyone out there should still buy their Game Scoop shirts.
Damon, we can say, the last thing I'm going to say
Yep.
is I can see what people search for on the store that doesn't return a result.
Okay. So they've been searching for.
Godzilla is up there.
Ooh,
you go.
we don't have a
So
Godzilla shirt?
that gives
That's
us
just Damon. He checks every day.
is there Godzilla shirts today? So that gives us a hit list of like stuff that maybe we should look into for the future.
Okay.
What's another one?
Sonic the Hedgehog is up there.
What's another one?
Final Fantasy.
What
Keep going.
is Nicely Job one of them?
One of
15th on the list.
I know Nicely Job was not one of them.
But people have been demanding a Nicely Job shirt.
Or you have Top Men on it.
They want a Nicely Job shirt and they want a Butt First shirt.
How would you spell but first?
You know, it depends on how it's being used.
Okay.
Depends on the graphic.
And then, Sam, you mentioned our PAX panel that's coming up next weekend. The once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a February 29th Game Scoop panel at PAX East.
Well, I mean, it could happen
4 years
what
from
do you
now.
think, 10 more times in our lifetime?
No.
That would give us 40 years of Game Scoop to survive.
No, because it's going to be the 569th episode, and that's never going to happen again
That's true.
on February 29th.
All right, let's say in 40 years we'll meet back on leap year and do another Game Scoop at PAX.
Okay.
Nothing could interfere.
It's
need to never say
7:30. Our PAX panel is 7:30 p.m. Saturday night in the Dragonfly Theater.
Seems like a pretty good slot.
Required attendance for all PAX East attendees.
Mandatory.
Mandatory.
Well, no.
You'll need a note from your doctor if you're not going to be there.
I guarantee you all we'll be talking about is how warm we feel after having been outside.
We're not used to the cold anymore. We're in California.
All right, let's get into the episode here. Some of us have hard outs. Some of us have other things that we can't spend all day just scooping our asses off.
But in 40 years, we can come back and finish this episode.
That's true. I want to talk about how much the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X might cost, because we're hearing lots of reports that scarce parts are driving up the manufacturing costs above $400, could be $450, could be even more than that. And the reason why I think that could be a big deal is because, quite frankly, my dear, there has never been a successful console launch that cost over $400. Just never has been.
Yeah, so you dug into some data about that?
Well, all you have to do is look at how much consoles cost when they launched. Only the PS3 and the Xbox One X, in terms of popular mainstream consoles, cost more than $400 at launch. Both of them were failures at launch.
That's really interesting. I've never thought about that before.
So the 3DO launched at about 800.
Yeah, and what happened to that?
It failed at launch.
Trip Hawkins is, I don't even know.
He's rolling over in his grave.
Now the Virtual Boy launched for
think he's
$250 at launch.
Which one? Yeah.
The Virtual Boy.
Yeah. Which is, it just goes to show, even if you do come in under $400,
Yeah.
you're not guaranteed success.
All right. So the name and rules apply still. Huh.
Thank you.
Well, so the PS3 you're saying was just compared to the Xbox 360 at launch, it never caught up.
Well, I
That
think
was
it
the
eventually,
expensive system in our time.
The PS3 ended up okay, but
Yeah.
it was very dicey for a long time.
And it was $600 ish at launch.
599 US
there were
dollars.
2 SKUs,
Yeah.
$500 and $600.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. That was crazy at the time.
Well, it also it colored the entire conversation around the consoles, and
Yeah.
so that became the biggest thing people were talking about, thinking about oh, this isn't really affordable.
Yeah. And then the Xbox One was $500 because they tried to shoehorn the Kinect into it. Nobody wanted that. So I just don't. What if the PlayStation 5 is actually $450 or more? What does that mean? Are gamers okay with that now?
And that's
Or-
just for that 450 is the report is that's
true.
just the cost of the parts
Yeah.
to Sony. And clearly the actual process of manufacturing it, putting it in a box, marketing it,
Yeah.
shipping it, Sony's cost alone is going to be well over 500.
Yeah.
If the 450 cost for parts is accurate.
Yeah, and for comparison, the PS4 cost them, I believe, $381 to manufacture each one. Ooh. So
Right
they
at
were
the start.
Yeah, so they were
so-
either making a tiny profit or breaking even when they sold those consoles. So
And we know from history, the general idea is not to make a profit on your console, but to make it on software.
Unless you're Nintendo.
And they're trying to make the profit on the hardware.
Nintendo's always been more stringent about that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's more about building a user base and then selling to them with whatever exclusives, et cetera, and trying to beat out your competition by not building it in with a Connect,
yeah,
And
which
I guess
I liked.
I did too. They now have a streaming service to kind of point people to too. I think they want to get you subscribed and using this console.
Yeah, it's a bigger push
PlayStation-
towards all of those services and software systems.
PlayStation Now you're referring to?
Yeah.
And xCloud for Microsoft.
Correct, for Microsoft. Yeah.
Console generations are whack, man.
How so?
I just every single time there's a new console generation, it's just an opportunity for you to lose your entire customer base. How is that a way to run a multi-billion-dollar business where we don't know how many people are going to be playing PlayStation 5 in 12 months?
You got to hit Apple levels where you
That's
just
what
have guaranteed users every time.
That's what I think I think we're going to see more, not less, half-step consoles. I think there's going to be every 2 years some new PlayStation and new Xbox to help try to lock in your player base and keep them around. And then if someone is a super fan and wants to upgrade each time, great. But if not, maybe they'll skip 1 or 2 cycles.
Is it unrealistic as the years roll on, as console generations roll on, is it unrealistic to not expect consoles to become more expensive? They've always been $300 and $400.
Yeah, you double negated it and it confused me.
It confused me
Repeat
too.
that question.
Consoles go
Is it
down in price?
not possible?
Is it unrealistic to expect consoles to always launch at $400 or under?
I see what you're saying.
There's definitely a psychological
perpetuity?
something at play. So we talked about those $60 games, right? It's hard. Yes, $400 15 years ago was a lot more money than it is today, but it's still hard to justify spending $500, $600 on a new game console.
Sounds like a lot.
Sounds like a lot. Exactly.
Well, that's why they have the different SKUs, I guess, and that's also an Apple iPhone model where it's we'll have the cheaper model and then the more expensive model for the people that really want the best experience out of each of these things.
Yes, but only Microsoft is rumored to have
Right.
different SKUs.
Yeah, these different.
That's actually interesting. I wonder if PlayStation is going to be forced into having.
Right, just to have the options for people.
Yeah.
But it is the same with games because $60 doesn't really cover the cost of production for a video game. It's just what we've become, what's standardized, what we're used to, what we're comfortable with. Because the second you start elevating that price, it's you start to get choosier about what games you're going to buy. Probably.
We all used to. I don't want to speak for everybody, but I remember the iPhone being something that you either subscribe. What was a payment plan that you could do with your cell phone service.
Yeah.
And I remember the price for them outright was always crazy. It was whoa. You could pay $30 a month, or it's $600.
$1,500.
But then now it is you can't do that anymore, and every phone is $800 or $900 or $1,100, and people just kind of eat that now.
Well, but
Maybe
I think
they'll-
most people pay on their phone bill. Like their Verizon bill just includes,
Right.
you know, you're going to pay $30 a month for 2 years, and then you just have this phone.
Maybe they'll have like a turn in, and also if you're a subscriber, some sort of
Yeah.
discounted rate in the future.
Well, so
to offset.
Xbox is doing that.
Xbox
you can
has
pay
that
a monthly
plan,
fee.
yeah.
You can. It's actually an incredible deal. I'm a little bit like Microsoft is in such a weird spot because they're doing so much awesome stuff that's like not really getting the attention that they probably deserve. With Game Pass being so great and their backwards compatibility being so great, but like you can get an Xbox One X today. You know, and I think you get Game Pass for a year. So you know every first party Microsoft game. And then you just pay a monthly fee, and then then they send you an Xbox One X. Like it's just part of this subscription.
Yeah.
Like it seems great. I feel like there's probably some catch hiding in the fine print, but on the face of it, like that seems really smart, and I think that that's the future.
I was going to say it would be really great if you could do that, and it would also be the next console and the next console and the
Yeah,
next console.
exactly.
So like in my life, I can be like, I subscribe to Xbox, and that just means that I can play all the games and then have the new systems as they come out.
Yep.
You know,
And
they-
if the
they would
goal
upgrade.
is that install base and you're rewarding your consistent loyal users, that's how you retain them.
Yep. And you get Game Pass. Like
Yeah.
We're seeing that with TV now, and of course, cell phone and services and stuff. It's like we do just kind of accept these subscription service plans now.
Especially the more mainstream, like having a gaming console becomes, the more likely it is that the services and the packages are what's going to be important, because people aren't going to be as in the weeds with all of the console worry stuff that everybody else talks about. It's going to be like, what's the best deal in this case?
Yeah.
so, to bring it back around to your like, what are the consoles going to cost? I think we're going to see a $400 and a $600 Xbox, and I think we're going to see a $500 PS5. So I think it's just going to thread the needle right in between them.
That would be in a really interesting situation, because then I don't know how many people are going to think the $400 Xbox is a more attractive deal than the $500 PS5.
It makes
I
it
think
tough to
puts
message.
Xbox in the better situation
Yeah.
because they're like, we have this high.
They have the
end
two
one
options,
That's
yeah.
like really, really sexy for a lot of people, and then like the low end one, it's like, well, I might as well just spring for that.
It does sort of. Yeah, I think I agree, Sam. That like
What
that
if
gives
they
them
did a 300 and a 500, and Xbox did a 400 and a 600.
the
Odds and evens.
if it were 4, 5, 6 that way, that gives Xbox, you know, the leverage on both ends, right? It
really
like,
does,
We have the
yeah.
cheapest entry into next gen,
And the
and we
most
have like
high-end, yeah.
the most high end console.
Yeah.
But they're currently playing console chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you don't announce your price.
And Nintendo just puts out systems at the 50 levels. So theirs are like 3 or 50.
And then Nintendo has Isabel show up in their halfway in their direct, and then Justin gets misty eyed. I just love Animal Crossing so much.
I'll buy
forgot
another
to put on my
Switch. I
headphones.
don't even need one.
Yeah, I was going to.
I'm ready.
Good timing. Good timing, Sam, as we transition into our next topic. Let's share what we've been playing. And I think we can finally talk about, after all these years, we can talk about The Witcher 3.
The hottest new game on the market.
First of all, was that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
That was Shadow of the Ninja in honor of it coming to Nintendo Switch
God, yeah,
Online.
that's not a great game. Although I've heard people
It has-
say that they do like it. From
I also thought it was TMNT. Is it Konami?
It has great music. No, it's like Natsume. But
doesn't it sound a lot like a Konami game? Yeah, Witcher, man. So you just started playing,
I've been playing for a couple weeks now.
and you have 2.
Yes.
And I started playing the DLC. What are you playing in The Witcher?
Gwent.
Yeah. If I'm not playing The Witcher, but if I were, it would probably be Gwen.
Oh, yeah?
Thronebreaker too.
But it's not just us. Like seriously, after the show came out, a bunch of people started playing it. You know, I saw that coming. You know, going around a little bit. But then in our office, I keep on like having people turn around when I'm talking about Witcher. And there's so many people playing right now. It's very funny. We all needed a big RPG this year, and nobody gave us one. And look what we had to do.
Yeah.
Tina, do you remember the stat on? There was some news about how much money they made off The Witcher. I think it.
Oh, like Steam sales?
Yeah.
Yeah.
recently,
Right,
or-
yeah, right after the show launch, because everyone was like, what is this thing that I like?
I'm paraphrasing. I think it's like $50 million or like some crazy amount of revenue they've earned in since the show came out on the game.
I'm also paraphrasing a stat that like purchases increased by like 300% after
crazy.
the show. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that percentage increase, yeah.
And then, of course, the author hates the game and just watches this and just shakes his head.
How does the author feel about the show?
The author's just a crusty man, and like his interviews are great. He just doesn't give a S.
I think he said something like it would be
Yeah.
inappropriate for me to comment on the show because it's just such a different entity or something like that. It was very cryptic.
Well,
and
that's actually a
non-answer.
fairly diplomatic. Like they're
Yeah,
making
very-
their own thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Which, to be fair, it totally is.
Yeah.
It's just weird how little control authors can lose on their stuff. to be that out of it, to be like,
Got to be good with your negotiations. Make sure you get those royalties. And
I cannot imagine the feeling of like you created this character in this world, and now there's a version of it, the most well-known version of it, that you have no like. What if the character doesn't look like that? You know,
he didn't write a single word or line or instance for that game.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
Yeah.
And like legally, they're like, that's not yours.
You said so on this paper.
Yeah, you said so.
In 1990.
But he's
Too late.
Also, I'm sure he's sleeping. He's crying into his bed of money.
Well, yeah. There's that.
What if he's not? What if it's like the which is not true, the rumor about the Tetris creator, you know,
Yeah.
is,
Oh, yeah.
he never made any money.
Well, the Witcher author, it was very acrimonious, and then they settled it. You know, the CD Projekt paid him a lot more money to sort of put that to bed, and now the two of them are friends again.
That's right. Yeah. They like revisited that negotiation.
But the story about the Tetris creator has a happy ending because after he made Hatris, he was just rolling it.
Wordtress. So this is my experience with The Witcher recently, is that I'm very stuck because it's not like riding a bicycle. You go back to playing a game like that and I'm like, why did I have all this equipment in these slots? Like I have no idea why it was all there. It's like, it is seriously like picking it up for the first time and it's vaguely coming back to me. So I'm playing the DLC, which is kind of standalone with my character, and it's great and everything. And I come into work, I'm like, Damon, Tina, like, what's up with this meter? And they're like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're like, why do I?
Why are there two dodges?
Exactly. That was another
One's
one.
a roll.
What's up with the skill tree that's on the right side of the skill tree that's not the skill tree? They have no idea. They've been
That's
playing
not
this game for
true.
weeks. No idea.
That's not true.
What are the 3 meters that fill up next to?
We already went through this. One is for your
red-
sign.
Yeah.
One is
One's your
your
stamina.
experience. One's your stamina.
Yeah.
What's the red
What's
one?
the red one?
Isn't that your health?
What's the red one?
No,
everybody?
there's the main red one, and then there's the
It fills
curved
up with
red
3
one.
things. It's like it's when you're mid fight. I think what it is, it's like you're like enraged and on a roll. And
I think it's
helps
an
you.
adrenaline
didn't it
thing.
On a roll meter. More games need to have an
I
on a
think we
roll
watched
meter.
it and yours like drain again.
Yeah, I think it's an adrenaline thing.
Well, whatever. Anyway, the game is so complicated.
lot going
and
on.
I'm actually not making fun of Damon and Tina. I'm kind of making fun of the game.
Really?
It's overly complicated and crazy. I remember by the end of it thinking like how much I'd wrapped my head around it and it was so great. But it is really funny seeing it from a distance now. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, there's like 2 games. There's one that's just the menus, and then there's the actual like you're talking to NPCs, you're fighting things.
Well, a normal video game, you know, scaffolds, right? Like it layers on new systems and new stuff slowly over time, and not necessarily through like heavy tutorialization, but that's just how video games work. Start out simple and then get more complex, and then, like you're saying, to pick that up midstream where you're just bombarded with meters and story, and it's like I don't know how.
But also, in my opinion, it starts off complicated because it's like here's all this alchemy and crafting stuff that you don't understand how to do because you have tiers of ingredients that turn into other ingredients, but then you have to go to this NPC to craft these things.
but it
then you
only
have to
just
do this
scaffolds
quest
more
line.
stuff on top of that.
Exactly. So it starts off really convoluted and then adds on more.
Did you guys ever use an oil?
Well, I haven't gotten any oils yet.
Look,
Yeah.
I played that game for like 100 hours and I've never used an oil. All right. Why would I put oil on my weapon? Everything just dies when I hit it with my sword. It's so meaningless. And then you get skill points. You can put them into like skills, which seems like a good idea, or you can put them into alchemy. And I look at that and it's like, get 10% more crafting from your crafty bonus. I'm like, who cares?
I feel like that's like end level stuff
Right.
where you've already maxed out like your vitality and all of your strength abilities and your signs and whatever else.
And suddenly you're like, I can collect so many more flowers.
That's high level gameplay. Yeah.
Well, Witcher 3 is 5 years old now. And I've talked about before how I played it when it first came out and it didn't grab me. And it wasn't because I hated it. It just like didn't really get its hooks into me. And then something else came out and I moved on. And I always thought, if I hear such great things about it, I should go back to it someday. I finally have, and I actually, I'm level 8. I've been playing for a couple weeks, a few hours every night. And so I'm understanding now, finally, I think, why people like this game. I'm super enjoying it. But it is true that it takes a long time to sort of like settle into the game.
Yeah.
I think a lot longer than most games. Like we were just talking about. It's more complicated than most console RPGs, I think. And CD Projekt Red, their legacy is CRPGs, which tend to be more complicated than console games anyway. So I think the selling point for me, the draw to me is the storytelling, and then the quest. Like the quests, they go on for so long, so much longer than you'd be used to in even like a Fallout. The quests just drag on and they branch off, and it's pretty cool how long you spend with these characters.
You can actually fail certain parts of a quest if you don't go down the line of tasks in the right way. So I've gotten to really looking at reading all about it, and then looking at what are the little segments, like, oh, I have to go to the beggars first to make sure that I talk to them to get the intel that I need to go to then do this other thing. Otherwise, if I go to do this other thing first, I fail the quest line with the beggars. And so you don't have this option that later comes in handy. And it's so intertwined with one one another, and it's
when
nice
quest fails pops up. You load an earlier save.
Yeah, you're like,
It drives
I
me
messed
crazy.
up. Yeah.
It does happen though.
It
And
does.
You just miss that content.
But there's full quests you can fail, and then there's certain parts of quests you can fail. And it doesn't mean you fail. It just means like that option is no longer available to you. So you have to go the violence route instead of maybe like being able to bribe someone down the line, something like that. So it's,
That
just,
reminded me-
it's very cool that you have to think on that level about it. You have to be that invested and engaged. And not a lot of games will do that.
When I first turned on the game, it's like it loaded my save, and I was like in somewhere. I was like, "Where the hell am I?" You know, it's like waking up from going to the dentist office or something, it was like quest failed. This one. Quest failed. This one. And as I ran around and was like trying to figure out how to get on my horse, it kept on going. Quest failed. This
Oh no! Why?
because I think I'd chosen some path in the game. There was an
blocked off,
inevitable thing that it blocked off everything.
Or maybe you left a city and it was like, well, I guess you're done with that.
Right? Yeah, but I had definitely beat the game too. So this was my last save before that, I think.
I wonder if that was a weird bug.
No, I think it was like there's all these political factions you can align with, and I like it's like Fallout. If you don't do Brotherhood of Steel, then you're not going to ever do the Brotherhood of Steel.
So if you turned off the game right after beating it, maybe you were closed off of
Yeah.
like several other paths.
And I don't know if I've beaten the game in my save yet. It's really hard for me to tell.
Weird.
But it doesn't matter because the thing I'm playing is way off and doing its own thing. It's in a fairy tale land. And it's really cool, Blood and Wine. But I was going to say, Geralt is such a cool character in this game, and he's so awful in the show. And,
Yeah,
and
that
I
was my
love his
experience,
character.
too.
He's funny. The dialogue is like Mass Effect, where you choose the meaning of what you're going to say, and then he says it his own way, which I love. He always says something really, really goofy, and he has little eye rolls and like is smiling. He's just likable.
Yeah.
It's so different than the TV character.
Yeah. That was my takeaway too. And then Tina, you're playing on Switch.
Yes. So I just got an upgrade, a visual
Nice.
upgrade.
So lucky.
Can you tell a difference?
Yes, you can. But as I told Sam, from one potato to another potato. So it's a little bit blurred out. Like anytime I share screenshots, people are like, wow, how did you did you compress it through your PS4 and then through your email and then through Twitter?
No, I just used it.
It's
Just
playable in
it's
motion,
just-
but then when you
yeah.
see the still photo, it's like, ooh.
I also saw my friend playing on PS4 recently, and I was like, "Oh my god, the colors! It's amazing!" So I'm a little bit I'm in my own corner, not realizing until I see actual screenshots.
That means
that's what I'm missing.
You can go to the next gen now just by starting to play on PlayStation 4.
That's
like
sure,
next gen experience.
exactly, yeah. For Witcher anyway.
There are, I will say, games 5 years old. There have been games released since that do traversal better. I think, like Breath of the Wild and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, feel better to just move around the world.
That was the first game to have a horse that could follow a path.
That I appreciate the pathing.
It's true, but if you want to make turns,
Yeah, sometimes
it's-
there's a fork in the road.
and you're like,
There's a 50% chance that he's going to take the wrong direction in the fork.
yeah, just slam into something. Calling him is always interesting because he's like ending up in some barbed wire somewhere.
But
Like, where
does
did this
show
come
up.
from?
At least the horse shows
Yeah.
up. There's not a lot of realism to Roach. So Roach can just
appears
appear.
behind
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I like that. Like,
Yeah, that's
the game
fine.
needs that.
Oh, for sure.
And then Roach is always fine. Roach can't get hurt or anything.
I don't like that he calls all horses Roach. I like the
You wanna have
I like
the
the
one Roach.
personal. Yes, and I like the personal connection that you had with your horse in Red Dead,
Hmm.
where there are different names, there are different breeds, you create different connections. But I just call all horses Roach.
So I've read 8 of these GD books, and they suck. And that keeps coming up. It's like The Witcher. The Witcher calls all horses Roach, and I don't get what that joke is or what.
There's also an NPC whose name is Roach, but spelled differently, and so that becomes confusing.
Well, it's Roche, right?
yeah, but doesn't he kind of pronounce it as?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm just hearing what I want to hear.
Yeah, should I tell the DLC joke?
But I don't remember what it is.
Well,
As long as
there's
it's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just there's a quest line in the DLC where the character's name is De La Croix,
Oh yeah.
and you keep on finding like monogrammed stuff that says DLC.
That's pretty cute.
It's clever.
That's pretty good. I mentioned to Sam, there's a Pulp Fiction Easter egg
Yep.
in there too. When you're moving through a castle and 2 guards are just saying they're talking and they're like, "Should we bring out the Gimp?"
Oh.
The other one
Gimp's
says, "The
asleep."
Gimp's sleeping." Maybe we should wake him up. It's pretty good. Anyway, what's the next big game coming out? Is it Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah.
I think it's Fallout 4.
Or
that's what we're all going to play next, right?
Half-Life VR.
Fallout 4?
Yeah, or Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, after after Witcher 3, yeah. Anyway, well, my point was I'll keep playing Witcher 3 for at least for the next couple of weeks until whatever the next big game that comes out is.
Well, the next big game that comes out for real is Animal Crossing, but you're gonna abstain.
I'm just gonna keep playing Witcher 3.
And Final
Stay
Fantasy
the
VII,
course with Witcher 3.
which you're going to abstain from too.
Well, depending on how that shakes out.
Okay.
I don't know.
And
I'm
then-
just very skeptical about that.
And then Doom, which I think you're going to love.
I'm definitely gonna
And
play Doom.
Half-Life VR, no? Or
Yeah.
was that push more? Yeah, no.
We're going to have to figure out how to put that thing on our faces, though. I don't think anybody here. Do you own VR?
No.
Yeah. So,
Well, I mean, we have lots of
you
VR
need,
in
like,
the
the
office.
Valve
Yeah.
Index,
Well, he means like a personal one that you feel comfortable wearing on your face that 20 other people haven't touched in the last 20 minutes.
or specifically like the 20 sick people in the office that tend
That's
to play
true.
VR more than other people.
We got the flu.
That's a good point. I never put that together. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Justin, you still Ring Fit adventuring?
No.
No, I guess you gave up.
I
Or did you beat it?
It does have an end eventually. No, the store, I've been working evenings.
That's
so
true,
I've
yeah.
been- I haven't been playing much or doing much except getting that ready to go.
He means he works in a grocery store after work.
Yeah, it's very sad. San Francisco, y'all. It's wild out here.
Hey, I work in an arcade on weekends. Damon, if Justin said you should borrow Ring Fit here and gave you his ring, would you use it?
here in the office.
No, just like in general. Would you borrow his Ring Fit ring?
I don't think there's
No.
anything unhygienic about the ring,
Well, okay.
right?
I mean, you do sweat all over it,
Okay, well, now I don't want to use it.
but
That's what Lysol is.
but it has the part that you're holding on to are pads that are Velcro, and you can take them off and wash them if you need to.
Hey, how would Damon borrow Justin's Ring Fit?
That doesn't make any sense.
But first,
We're going to move.
no? Okay.
You use your hands and your legs.
I don't know. You can use that how you want in your own home.
Let's check in with the listeners.
Hey, listeners.
Listeners, you can always reach us at the email address gamescoop@ign.com, just like
No.
Big Tony
Big
style.
Tony style.
Look at my headphones.
Yeah, I
We didn't do it. It's the power of...
apologize for that one.
There are two G's in big, so you have to say it that loud.
Okay.
Big Tony Style writes us after a long absence and says,
You know, BTS has been on,
Yes.
BTS has been on GameScoop longer than I have.
That's what BTS means.
Not behind the scenes.
he says, as retail seems to be less and less relevant, I feel like box art goes largely unnoticed nowadays. I miss the days of walking through my local Blockbuster, poring over a game's box art to pick out a game to play on the weekend. Are there any notable games with standout box art from this generation that the Omega Cops have taken notice of? What are some games from your childhood with standout box art?
This generation, I have no idea. Do you
was gonna
guys pay
say,
attention to that
Yeah,
stuff?
it's weird.
This may be
slipping my mind.
Yeah.
wonder the question, are icons the new box art? Like the icons on your home
Yeah.
screen?
Like I can picture controls, like the big white letters and her going like this. And
Yeah.
Right,
but I've
yeah.
only seen that as a code in my
Right, exactly.
Or Borderlands, right? That was revealed box art, but it wasn't especially.
Right, because that one
series
was a
notable
good one. Yeah, that's
It's
true.
colorful.
And it's always the collector's editions, like the metal
Yeah, that
boxes.
looked
Like
really
that one was
good,
gorgeous,
actually.
yeah, with all the roses, and they did their E3 booth in the same way.
Roses have characters' faces in them.
Yeah, I know, super
I
clever.
looked at that box art a lot without ever noticing that.
That is actually probably the most notable one.
All Animal Crossing art leading up to this game release has been amazing. It's like it's irresistible. Everybody's pre-ordering special editions of it and stuff like that because it looks so cool.
I do remember writing a story in my former Kotaku days about the BioShock Infinite box art because that was actually very controversial.
'Cause it was
It's the
the
first
guy
thing that came up. No, it was I actually forget what everyone's controversy was, but I created my own controversy, which was he
one
wasn't
does.
using proper trigger finger discipline.
okay.
Which actually, and then I did a whole report on like here are the box arts that do use proper trigger finger discipline, and it's obviously a bunch of shooters, but then there's a variety to them. So trigger finger discipline meaning you don't put your finger on the trigger unless you're ready to actually fire. And he's got this shotgun, which people pointed out is like I don't know a ton about guns, but I think it's like a bolt action something or other. So it's kind of a moot point. It's like it got its own safety essentially, but he has it slung on his shoulder, and it's like it was just dumb.
There's also rules about if you're going to have a gun, it can't be pointed directly at the person viewing the box art. It has to be off at an angle, and there's actually rules about
Interesting.
how much of an angle it has to be pointed off to.
Really?
That's true. Are you
it's
sure?
it's like a threatening
what?
pose or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Now I want to research this.
Yeah, and
it's never down the barrel?
you can't have a box art where the gun is pointed
Well,
down.
now
the
I'm
barrel.
picturing Red Dead Redemption's box art. Isn't that not John Marston pointing a gun at the viewer?
Yeah. I don't think so. So I was just looking up 2019 box art, and it's not memorable in any way. Like everything's like a montage and crappy looking.
I do remember this Gears one,
Gears
and then
looks
of course the Borderlands one,
and honestly, Control looks good. And then Star Wars, I didn't remember, but it has like a big dual-bladed lightsaber across it.
Red Dead skirting that line.
How does this work? Red Dead Redemption 2's box art absolutely has a gun pointed at it.
Maybe I made that whole. Maybe I made that whole
That is
thing up.
angled though.
Well, I mean,
It's not pointed directly.
Hey, maybe it's for an ESRB rating.
Look up the
Could it really
Bioshock
do that?
Infinite one. Though.
Maybe
I know that's just a guy.
So there's a
But
chance.
he's got like his finger.
There's a chance I completely dreamed and made up that whole thing. Or maybe Sam's right in that it is related to ESRB, where if you're not rated M, you can't do it.
His
See? He's got his finger on it. But there's something where you have to cock the gun in a specific way, so it doesn't
I think
matter.
the enemy is just behind him, and he's being fancy about shooting him.
Being fancy about
And just really stoic about it.
a lot of the box art this year seems to be montages of faces, like kind of montaged on.
this
It
is
doesn't
kinda,
look particularly
like the Star
modern.
Wars one is kind of like the Star Wars movie posters, and I'm sure they were emulating some of that.
But yeah, I guess Control is something that like we liked for its style, and so that stands out as like a design opportunity for them to make cool box art.
I like the Katana Zero one just because it's really like neon colorful. Where is it?
And Untitled Goose Game, if it had box art, it would be the best box art.
I think Star Wars Battlefront had pretty cool box art, if you can see that here.
It's got an AT-AT.
It's got a lone soldier facing down an AT-AT.
Remember that?
was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that was cool.
But yeah, box art, I don't know what's going to happen as we move into a completely digital future. It must be icons, but I don't think developers and publishers put as much thought into their icon art as they
I think the Switch eShop icons are pretty good.
Well, I was going to bring that up because it turns out that Nintendo fans, a lot of them are really serious about their icons, and if there's been instances where they don't like a game's icon,
they've
and they like complain until the developer changes it.
And that's because like that's in your face when you fire up your Switch.
I get
like
that too. I want to have
icon is like
I want to have a nice environment too.
I guess themes,
aesthetic to what's on
I
your
get that.
homepage.
I get that.
themes are also a thing, which I haven't played
Not on the
around with
Switch,
as much,
but-
but yeah, well, PlayStation 4, yeah. Maybe that's their next box art route.
That's actually a good point. What if when you got your game, it actually themed out your system while you had it?
You can get themes.
I know you can.
Yeah.
It just that's a nice thing that like for Switch, for example, would be a cool thing. It's just you just kind of had that.
Totally.
I wish
Yeah.
that was kind of part of
It seems like special editions should come with themes. Does that not happen? I don't think that
Themes are generally
happens very
annoying to like do though, because like if that happened, then it would like the special edition you have to put in a code just to theme out your system. Like that should just be part of the experience. Like,
It's true.
be cool.
That should be a next gen feature. I loved all the Atari 2600 box art, even though that was like
You're just
different time.
going back.
I mean, well, he was asking about favorite box
Yeah,
art.
there's a lot.
childhood.
There's a lot of
like-
not my childhood. There's a lot of rainbows and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
in the Atari 2600.
Yeah, like a Activision logo was a
I see what you're
rainbow.
saying. Yeah.
And then like on the side of the boxes that has like a for one of the companies is silver boxes with rainbow highlights on it. And it's the coolest looking box art.
I think I know the ones you mean. Like,
I know what they're Exidy.
yeah, I think you're right. Demon
I got
Attack.
there.
Demon Attack is one of them. Look up the box art for Demon Attack if you want to see what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
and then hand painted stuff.
What about the Stampede logo?
The Stampede logo. I can show you that right now. It's on my belt buckle.
You wearing the belt buckle? You got it already?
Yeah.
You haven't showed it to me?
I feel weird
What?
showing people belt buckles when they're on me. When it was off, I was like, Tina, look at this. But I'm not going to be like, look at my
Okay, fair
waist
enough.
right now.
So take it off.
I'll show it to you later. I'll put on a jacket. Take it off. I could take it off. That's actually a
There
good
you go.
point.
And of course, there's really great box art examples on the NES. I'm thinking like the Castlevania, the original Castlevania, beautiful hand painted art. Gradius, Light Force, like those amazing hand painted sci-fi scenes.
What about Phalanx on the SNES?
Is that the banjo player?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
The only box art from my youth, I'm sure I could think of more, but like the one that springs to mind is Doom. Was like a very, very, I was 10 and I thought that was the coolest fucking thing I had ever seen in my life.
Not gonna believe it.
And like that just like it made a mark on me and like totally set the tone for that game. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I guess the 2016 Doom had pretty cool box art too.
Yeah.
They're kind of austere box art wise, but the Zelda series used to be gold boxes with like a sword and a shield or like just a very little thing. So Zelda 1, Adventure of Link were like that. Ocarina of Time was like that.
Very classy.
Link to the Past was like that. Majora's Mask kind of twisted it a little bit, which it did with everything. But it was classy and it was like so exciting. And those games were always the highest end games when they came out. So it was like gold, like in your hands. It was like, oh man, what a cool box art
And
package.
the gold cart.
Yeah, course.
And the gold card, the box art for that, if I remember right, was
shows
embossed.
it through it.
Yeah.
No, it has a window and it shows the part of it through it.
For the NES original.
It's really cool. And then the Final Fantasy 1 box art in Japan is gorgeous, and it's like Amano, is that his name, that did all the Final Fantasy art, and like whatever, it's great. But in America, we're like, we have to make this look as un-Japanese as possible, and it's just like this horrible fantasy art of like a wizard and a naked guy and like a ninja looking at a castle in the sky in a sphere.
Isn't the
Oh, no, sorry, the box
art's
art's
just a
simpler.
shield?
Yeah, the box art's
But you're probably thinking like the strategy
the
guide,
strategy guide cover, which was official too.
which is interesting because I think with the Dragon, the Dragon Warrior games over here, they embrace the fantasy anime art style a little bit more, or at least didn't try to hide it from.
Well, look up slime in the Dragon Warrior manual. It looks like a little man. It's so bad. They took the cutest, most desirably, like kawaii character from Japan. They're like, no, we got to make it look like a gross, decapitated head.
Yeah, make it extreme.
Make it extreme.
All right, let's move on. That forlorn tune is from Terminator on Sega Genesis.
Oh.
This is Robert Taylor in Cobb, California. From the top, I would like to say I'm a big fan and thank you all for your great content each week. But first, this last weekend, my fiance and I took a 2-hour trip south to San Francisco for a concert/date night. After dinner, we decided to take a stroll down Pier 39 for some drinks and to check out the sights. We made our way into Bubba Gump's for a beverage when we discovered an arcade in the back of the building.
That arcade.
Since you all work in SF, you may know the place. You know the Bubba Gump arcade?
It's so bad. It's not part of Bubba Gump. It's just there's an arcade on.
So it's Pier 39. Okay.
Yeah.
After a couple rounds of air hockey, I noticed they had the Walking Dead light gun game. As a huge fan of the early seasons of The Walking Dead and comic books, I just had to play it. However, I only had enough money on my arcade card for one player because I didn't feel like reloading more money onto it due to us being short on time. So I let my fiance play instead because it seemed to spark her interest. She did not grow up playing many video games nor light gun games, so I wanted to let her try. The game sets a scene of you, an unknown character, escaping a zombie-filled prison with nothing but a crossbow. The light gun, of course, was a crossbow with a crank lever on it to reload your next arrow. Needless to say, she had a blast and insisted we keep playing.
That's a good arcade gimmick.
So, I'm here asking for light gun game advice for the home setting. I have a PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. I know that PS4 makes a light gun peripheral, but I wouldn't know where to start for games.
Boy.
In your experiences, have you come across a worthy purchase that the fiance and I can play at home?
Do modern TVs do light guns?
This is the main problem, I think. I think when HD TVs became a thing, light gun games went away.
The old technology of them. So the old technology used the scan lines of the TV, and it actually, in the gun itself, was able to sense where an object was based on the scan lines. So that means that no TVs use that anymore, so they have to use something else. But we have phones that can take imagery off things and put AR things in space. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that we can have nice light guns now. There's not a market for those that crosses over with anybody that I know.
Yeah.
And so I'm totally out of the loop on what light guns are now.
I had the light gun peripheral, the fancy expensive one from Namco for the PS2, and loved it. Like, I bought Time Crisis and I had Point Blank,
Yeah.
I had and that was great. But I just don't know. It's not a part of my life anymore.
Well, I was doing some research for this segment. I think there are virtually no light gun games released for any current gen console.
Bummer.
Until just recently, late last year, there was a new peripheral by PDP. I think it's called the Mars light gun. Its whole gimmick is that it's supposed to work with modern TVs. But there's only 3 games that they've released for it. Like Big Buck Hunter is one of them, and then there's some generic. That's a generic alien shooter, probably an Area 51 sort of.
And we should point out, Wii is a light gun. It is an equivalent.
Wii?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that had the Lynx crossbow training gun with it and stuff like that. So that's just a different way of doing it, right? It made an infrared field, and then it kind of tracked the position of where you're aiming. That's just another way of doing it. So there's clear ways of doing this with motion and cameras that would work. It's just for some reason people don't want to sit in front of their TVs with a piece of plastic anymore. And that actually extends to Ring Fit aside, a lot of what we're in our era wise, because we still have instruments in our house and we fit boards and stuff like that. We are not in a peripheral zone right now. Post Connect, I haven't bought a peripheral for my system forever.
But you can totally buy a Nerf Halo line now.
Yeah, that's true.
The actual Halo
That's
gun.
just to shoot your friends?
Yeah, but it's you have the
they
needler
must
and
look
there's
so cool.
1,000 little Nerf
Really?
bits on it. It's really cool.
Oh
yeah.
man, that's a great idea. We
Right?
should get those.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
I think light gun games have moved into VR.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
There is that option. If you wanted to pick up a PSVR, there's a lot of cool first-person
Super
shooters.
Hot's a good one for that.
Yeah, Super Hot's great. Yeah, it's amazing. But there's also just like more typical like light gun shooting gallery games that take place in VR.
Why were light guns more fun than? I guess controllers were just so far behind that we didn't have a lot of 3D space aiming.
What are you talking about?
I'm being pulled away.
What? It's not. You have 5 minutes left.
All right. Do you want
Okay.
to tag somebody in for 20
Yes.
questions?
Okay. Well, I have one more topic we can discuss while you grab somebody.
Okay.
I just want to know if everyone. You didn't even say goodbye to everybody, Tina.
I know. Oh, well, hold on. Pear, come over and show people why I must leave.
Show
like
and
one of those-
show and tell.
Tina is not supposed to be having fun. She's supposed to be doing work.
That's
Yeah,
This is
it's
work.
true. Yeah. Okay.
right.
Well, that's all the explanation that we need.
Dad, stay out of my room.
I'm being pulled into NVC currently.
The door's locked.
Tina has an appointment that's out of the office, and so she has to get over there.
Okay.
Oh, that was great.
Okay. Well, let's move on to our final topic before 20 questions.
Whoa.
This is Scott from sunny Australia. My name is Scott from Brisbane, Australia. Love the show. When work and my 4 kids have at times required a dialing back of gaming podcasts, Scoop has always stayed in the subscribe list. Thank you for your service, Scott. I've just received delivery of a flip grip for my Switch.
Cool.
To get a taste of that old school vertical goodness. I've got Ikaruga and the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection. My question
That's all
is,
you need.
Yeah.
what flip grip compatible games do you consider must plays? So I can help out with this. And Scott, so good call on Ikaruga. You now have the best, maybe the best shoot 'em shmup game of all time.
You know, I've never played that.
Oh,
I mean, I just said maybe,
yeah.
but it's great.
I've never played it.
It's great.
amazing. It is.
I should get the flip grip, and when we go to Boston, I can play that.
You should get the.
Is that a good playing game?
Yeah, I mean, can you play a arcade shooter for 5 hours?
No, but I can play it for a little bit and then
Yeah.
take a nap.
Yep, you can do that too. Although I don't know if the flip grip is sold out, so you may want to reach out.
I have one.
Okay, you already have one.
Yeah, but I've never played Ikaruga.
Is there so flip grip compatible? Is that any game that has a tape mode can work with flip grip, or is
Yeah.
it a specific thing they have to do?
A tate mode. Yes.
excuse
Any game that has tate mode that allows you to rotate the screen. So yeah, Ikaruga's great. The SNK 40th Anniversary Collection has a bunch of games like the Ikari Warriors and Guerrilla War and that sort of stuff. I would recommend. Pinball games are great for this. So Demon's Tilt, which I talked about recently, is sort of a spiritual successor to early 90s
Come on in.
video pinball games. Alien Crush and Devil's Crush, that's available on there.
Yeah.
Welcome, Jonathan Dornbush.
Hello there.
You may have just listed this when Jonathan was walking in. Did you mention Star Wars Pinball?
That was gonna be the other pinball game.
That's one I played. It's
recommended,
great.
Yeah. We're
I
talking
have
about
that for Switch too, so I should just try that.
We're talking about the best games to play in vertical mode on your Switch.
Okay.
Jonathan, yeah. So those are good. And then also for more shooters, the 2 Psycho shooting collections that are both out now. Each one has like 6 games, and there are definitely more good games than there are bad in those collections. Like the Strikers series, Dragon Blaze, Gunbird. These are awesome 90s.
What a
vertical
cool arcade
arcades.
renaissance on
I mean,
Switch right now.
the Switch is such a cool system because you can play it in vertical mode.
Mm-hmm.
Such a cool system for shooters because if you play these games on your PS4, on your big HD TV, the game plays only in this small sliver in the center
That
of the
is
screen,
such
and then
a
they
good
put up
point.
these
You have
big.
to just turn your TV sideways.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would actually look pretty cool.
So that's actually a big problem when people make their own arcade machines is that they use a horizontal monitor or a vertical, and like half games are not one or the other. I mean, there's 50-50. Like
Yeah.
you're not going to have the best of both worlds. So people now get these, I don't recommend doing this. They get a giant 4x3 monitor, which things look really good on, and then it's so big that like Donkey Kong looks fine down the strip of the middle of it.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that you have to do that.
Yeah. All right, that should be some good suggestions for you, Scott in sunny Australia, and that brings us to video game 20 questions.
Ooh.
Our suggestion this week comes from Ethan, last name anonymous. Ethan Anonymous.
All right, and introduce Jonathan because he just showed up out of nowhere.
I thought we did introduce Jonathan.
You
Jonathan
mentioned me.
Dornbush,
Enough. Beyond.
host of Podcast Beyond, is joining us here.
And
Subbing
you
in for
guys-
Tina.
You guys are both doing a show that
Called
airs
Next Gen
right at the
Console
same day as
Watch
this.
2020.
Yes.
Not Next Gen Console Watch 2013.
No.
If you're watching that, you're watching reruns.
Tune in for the new episode.
But Damon was still on it.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, you know how 20 questions work.
Yes, of
Jonathan, right?
course.
Okay. In that case, let the questioning begin.
Jonathan, you want to start this one?
Yeah.
Ooh. Was the game released after January 1st, 2000?
Yes.
Is this a Damie game?
No.
Okay, so a game that Damon doesn't like.
Okay.
Or,
There's
just
a
not-
lot of those.
Yeah, or it just wasn't like in his.
Yeah.
So maybe Kingdom Hearts.
It didn't win a Damien.
Kingdom Hearts is alive.
That's true.
Was this game released on a Nintendo console?
No.
Ooh. Was this game a platform exclusive?
No.
Okay.
Okay. Did it? We don't know the year aside from after 2000.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Is this part of the contemporary console systems?
Yes. That's 5.
Wow, that's great.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Contemporary
not on-
systems not on Switch.
But not on Switch.
And not exclusive.
Was this game developed in Japan?
No.
Is this an independent game?
No.
Did this company that published this game have a press conference at the last E3?
Yeah. Well, yes-ish.
Wow.
Interesting.
So
Yes-ish.
EA.
Yeah.
Devolver.
Devolver
thinking
or
Devolver.
EA would be, yeah.
We can just ask. You can just ask.
Was this game published by EA?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. PS4 and Xbox or
bet
Xbox
Star Wars.
One game.
Is-
No, that was a total Damien game. Glad we asked.
Is this game a third-person action game?
Yeah.
Lot in there.
I think you... Well, hold on.
Okay.
Mind Palace time. I think it's possible. I think third person play is an option in this game. That's
Okay.
10. I think you can third or first person.
Oh. Really?
Think. Or maybe it's just third person. It's at least third person. At least that much.
Think it's a popular battle royale?
Yeah.
Well, Apex is
thinking Apex.
primarily first-person. Can you play it in
He
third?
doesn't know that.
Yeah.
I said that last week and people got a real kick out of that.
I don't, yeah.
When we were talking about something and I blew past something and be like, yeah, but Damon can't answer that.
Does it? Is this game mostly? Is it mostly a shooty? You shooting a lot?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So does.
Was this game developed by Respawn?
No.
Okay.
Aw.
I'm assuming Anthem then.
Yeah. And
Hold on. I take everything back that I just said. This is a first person game. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
but it's still not Apex Legends because
Everything is
Battlefield then, or Battlefront.
There was no Battlefield or Battle. Oh,
Yeah, there was.
I'm
There's
saying-
1 and 5.
no, of course. No.
Yeah.
I for some reason was thinking last year because we talked about
so
E3
was I.
last year.
Okay.
But that had no foundation in reason.
just a PS4. I went through the exact same thing, but it's just
Yeah.
a PS4 and Xbox One game.
Yeah.
Well, we're presuming we know it's a multi-console game from this generation that's not on Switch. So
Yeah.
And first person. Definitely first person.
Is this game in the Battlefield franchise?
Yes.
Okay.
so wait, there was Battlefield 1.
1 and V/5.
Was this game based in World War One?
No.
Wait, was Battlefield 1 was World
That was
War One,
yeah,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it has to.
does this game have Levolution?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, it's just Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
Good work, Jonathan. Thanks for the help.
Happy to be here.
And the only reason I got tripped up on the first person thing is because halfway through I thought we were talking about Star Wars Battlefront again, but we were
Actually,
Then I had to
you were right
what do you mean?
because you do play vehicles in third person
In which one?
in Battlefield.
Oh, yeah.
Battlefield.
Well, okay, just vehicles are third person.
Yeah.
And everyone else.
That counts.
Okay.
So that was a really smoothly run 20 questions. For you won.
Yeah.
We won.
Everybody wins
Everyone won.
except for Ethan Anonymous.
Yeah, don't at me.
Get
Nice
bent.
try. Don't get. He says, I've been listening to your podcast since the SNES on Switch episode. Don't remember which one that is. Your podcast episodes made my 2-day trip to Myrtle Beach and back amazing. Well, I'm glad we could be
I bet we did that episode like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always the embarrassing thing.
I thought you were gonna
Game Scoop
stop at-
Is that like a known, like if they were like, oh yeah, the infamous SNES on Switch episode?
Well, I think it was from
Incident.
when the SNES collection came out
Yeah.
on Switch. We did an IGN
have been-
now for that.
That
It's
would
a
have been like
great now.
that would have been like
Is that a good one?
It's a very good.
Oh, we rated games.
Yeah, you rated all the
yeah,
games.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would have been from like last September or so. Before we go, Jonathan, we all shared what we've been playing. What have you been playing recently?
Ooh, I've been playing something for review that I don't think I can talk about, but look forward to
Moving
a
on?
review soon. I can say that, but yeah, that's all I can say. Other than that, I've actually been replaying Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh yeah, how does that?
I've been
hold up?
following your tweets.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm still obsessed with the photo mode for it. It is still one of the prettiest games I've ever played, and I love just taking constant like wildlife and photography in that game. It's
Nice.
great. The story stuff does not really hold up. It is one of the weirdest things where I love the action and the combat and the hunting of that game, and then when characters talk, they are just two people standing apart from each other saying their lines, and then the other person says their lines.
Are they just really stiff?
They're really stiff. Okay. There's really no liveliness to any of their interactions. It's sort of a weirdly dead conversation every time, even though they have a great voice cast and they have a lot of great talent involved. It just doesn't come through in the way it's animated.
What about when the dinosaurs talk to each other?
That's the best part.
Yeah.
Do you think the sequel is going to be called Horizon One Dawn?
I've talked about this a lot on Beyond. My hope is it's that silly. I hope it's Horizon Zero Dawn
Or Zero Dusk?
2
Zero Dusk.
Horizon Zero Dusk or Horizon Zero Midday or just something inane.
Zero Dawn 2 is also really good.
Yeah.
Or it could be, man, because you could also change Horizon.
Yeah, Foreground Zero Dawn.
Well, there is an in-universe Horizon Zero Dawn. Like that name has relevance in
Really?
the world. Yeah.
Was it the satellite?
It was
played that
the
game.
military plan that essentially they enacted.
I have blocked all of that out.
I just played it a week
There's
ago.
like a
so-
crashed space AI and all kinds.
Yeah, and so they say like Horizon Zero Dawn was the plan that went into action. I don't think they had the Horizon One Dawn plan. I don't know.
You're also playing the Fortnite.
I am. Yeah,
Wow.
I got obsessed
You got
with Fortnite.
Obsessed?
Obsessed. We play, my girlfriend and I play every day.
Wow.
Starting on Christmas Day because they introduced split screen. I remember very
From 9 to
distinctly.
5,
From 9
every
to 5,
day.
we're playing Fortnite.
Monday
I don't-
through Friday.
I don't show up for work. But no, we've been playing every day and we've been very much looking forward to. Haven't jumped into season 2 yet, but we're going to tonight and I'm very much looking forward to it.
It's got some spy stuff in it.
Yeah, I'm really excited by it. There's a really buff cat character you can
I
unlock.
saw that buff. cat.
Meowscles.
What a crazy Meowscles.
Yeah. Incineroar looks like nothing compared to him. It's
Yeah,
great.
that's another buff cat.
Yeah. We could probably do a top 5 buff cats on IGN now.
Yeah, we could. Damon doesn't know what we're talking
Last
about. So
No.
we should probably move on.
Big's the
Anyway.
Let's just move out.
I can't name another buff cat. Maybe from the cartoon Heathcliff.
What about Thundercats?
Yeah, Thundercats are pretty buff.
I gotta go.
Okay, sorry.
I'm sorry
Okay,
I brought
we're
this
gonna
to the show.
We're gonna go.
Your boss
just
isn't
talk
here
about.
taking you out.
Let's just talk about our top 10 Thundercats first. That is all the scoops we have for you this week. Hopefully, we'll see a bunch of you at our PAX East panel next weekend. Make sure to check out the store.ign.com. Buy up all of those
Buff
GameScoop
cat
t-shirts.
shirts like this one.
If you have any money left over after you buy GameScoop t-shirts, maybe buy a Beyond t-shirt as well.
Oh, thanks for throwing me that bone.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, John. My name is Damon. This is IGN GameScoop, and we're out.